arms.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's get into your story of being a visionary entrepreneur and all of the good stuff that is a part of your world. But before we get there, I know we're fatigued by talking about COVID, but it was such a moment for all of us to look in the mirror and pivot and do all the things that we
Mhm.
did. So ultimately, how did you make it through that approximate 4 year window, and how has it changed the way that you live your life right now?
So going through COVID for us, we were right on the backs of another crisis. We had had a big major crisis in our company that we lost 80% of our revenues in
Wow.
1 year. And we
Wow.
had just started to recover. And then COVID hit. And it wasn't even a difficult stretch for us because we'd already become resilient from going through that. So for us, it was how can we help each other? Who needs help? We quickly mobilized into action. We had computers. We were already set up for remote. We had been in the cloud for a decade already. So that was there. And it was just taking care of our people. And we got ourselves we were declared as a necessity of pest control. So that didn't shut us down at all. So we kept producing, stayed close to our customers, asked how we could help them. And remarkably, we made it through. Our business continued to grow over COVID.
Yeah.
And our culture really, really grew as well. We came out of COVID a top place to work.
Wow.
And I put a lot of extra training, though, into managers, thinking, that's the first line of defense,
Yeah.
and giving them the skills and the tools and extra resources to help their people, because not only were we affected, but everybody's families was affected.
Yeah.
And I wanted our employees to go home and be a source of light and strength, right, for their families. I didn't want them going home stressed out.
Yeah.
So that that really helped us a lot, and the employees felt good to be that for their families. And we brought in things that we would have never. I wasn't planning on bringing in this gold class EAP program, but when I heard, okay, you could get your lawyers with it, you can get top counseling, you can get all these additional resources. It was like, okay, well, not no problem. I'll write a check for that. It was one of the best things that we'd ever done. And normally small companies don't look at things like that.
Well, that's the true mark of a leader, because managers kind of keep up and make sure everything's on task, but you need a leader to be there to do things like that. So that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
And another thing about leadership, I think that it really showed itself, or revealed itself is probably a better way to say it, what kind of a leader people are.
Yeah.
I've always been more of the quiet leader, um, like horses lead.
Yeah.
They have the leader is generally the quiet one, off to the side, conserves their energy and listens and watches and nudges and makes sure the herd is safe
Yeah.
and make sure the herd is getting along. And because there's always teenagers and things happening.
Sure.
And, I'm more of that kind of a leader, a servant leader and a transformational leader.
I used to have an Australian Shepherd, and it was funny how she would do all of these things and where she would lay at night, and she was always kind of herding and keeping an eye out for everything. There was a strategic plan for keeping everything safe, but she was just so smart and also kind of a leader in her own regard. It's interesting, you know.
Yeah, if I was a dog personality, that might be close to it, because
Yeah,
I do come from a farm and a ranch background, and we did have those dogs, and they kept the place free of coyotes.
yeah,
And when calving was happening and lambing was happening, we didn't have to worry about the small ones getting eaten up.
yeah, for sure. So let's get to the heart and soul of what you do as an entrepreneur and a leader in 2024. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of third graders. It's career day. And one of the kids says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer them?
To a third grader, they are most excited about saving bugs.
Uh-huh.
The third graders are very excited about saving bugs. We actually have a posse of employees' kids every year, and it's a favorite event and benefit of our company. Employees' kids come in during pollinator week, and we go on a bus and we do pollinator activities and we talk about it and we go to museums. And yeah, so I tell the kids that we help people live in harmony with nature.
That's
And
wonderful.
it's very much like music. I explain it
Yeah.
like all God's critters got a place in the choir,
Yeah.
and every one of us has a purpose and a role. With that said, you don't want the bugs in your own space, so our products make it easy to let them go off and rewild themselves and do what they need to do.
That's wonderful. What did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream?
I wanted to be either an artist or a veterinarian.
Okay.
I
So you,
absolutely love animals. I'm a dog trainer today. So
okay.
I, on the side, I take dogs and do agility training. And artist, I get to live that as well
Yeah.
because I'm kind of making pest control an art form.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
actually beautiful, it's functional, it's effective, it's sustainable, making business an art form. So I wasn't talented as far as drawing things and picking out colors and painting rainbows.
We all have our canvas, you know. There's so many different kinds of canvas. So you had mentioned being on a farm early on. Take me back to where you were born and raised, and what were some of the foundational elements of being an entrepreneur and getting into this line of work? How did all of this kind of begin, take hold, and evolve into who you are today?
Oh my goodness, you've talked to a few entrepreneurs, Joe, haven't you? This
I
is like
I hope
I
so.
this is where it starts. So I'll take you way back. I was born in Logan, Utah. My dad was an entomologist, working his way up the career ladder, decided he didn't want to work for the government, started to work for a private company. So, being young and way back then, that took us into big cities where he could kind of carve his way out. So, we moved out to Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and lived in an apartment building. And I'm just this little kid, right? And I kept asking him where away is because I see people throw garbage away. I'm like, where does it go? It was just like this curiosity ahead. So he finally drug me to Staten Island, Kills Dump, showed me it's acres and acres and acres and acres of garbage and mounds. And I could see the bugs flying, and there was people in poverty picking stuff out. And it was just this big cognitive dissonance from my little brain.
Yeah.
And I saw really consumerism, and I saw the safety and what I thought humanity should be like. So after that point, it really impacted the way that I bought products and used products and experienced those products. I got also got a another key element in this entrepreneurial story was I got a bottle of shampoo. I saw the commercials. I wanted this shampoo so bad. The little girl was so cute. I'm like, I'm going to be a shampoo model someday. And it burned my eyes, it burned my skin. And I thought, wow, what an absolute rip. So I started making my own things as a little kid and never was told really I couldn't. I was unsupervised, which makes me more creative and innovative, I guess. Had some experiments gone bad, which made me even more sensitive to things. But it never made sense to me growing up. And my father, being an entomologist, we'd argue because I'd say, you love bugs. He had huge collections of them in the next room. And they always freaked me out, as a kid, but he loved them. And I said, why do you kill them if you love them? And he said, that's how you make money. That's the business model. Basically shut up. Your stomach is full. You have a bed to sleep in. You shouldn't be worrying about things like this. And so years later, I'm on a farm. I have a problem with pests. And he had already passed away, died of cancer. And so he's from heaven above watching me now. I thought there's got to be a better approach to this when you have pests, and we had mice getting into our tractors, and we didn't have the money. We were living in poverty, like 18,000 a year when I started this company. We couldn't
Yeah.
afford a $350 tractor seat when the mice chewed it up, or a $1,200 wiring harness. And there really wasn't anything out there that would keep them out and that didn't kill them. And I was worried about my kids and pets. I wanted something safe and natural. All the companies out there that I called, I got on the phone like, you have to have something, you have to have something. And they pretty much laughed me off the line. It was
Wow.
really humiliating. And like, it, come on, lady, just kill them and be done with it. It's
Yeah.
cheap. And I said, well, I really don't want to kill them, and I can't afford this damage. So that started the whole thing.
Wow. I heard years ago from somebody that the whole key to being an entrepreneur, to being a good one, is finding a problem and solving a problem. Don't think about making all of this money and acclaim and all of that that comes with it. But if you can just hone in like you did. And the other interesting thing that I love about what you're doing is my son's on the spectrum, on the autism spectrum, and Temple Grayden, who her
Yeah.
story, okay, of how she honed in on being more humane
Mhm.
to animals is kind of akin to what you're doing. It's like they I'm sure she was told over and over because of her disability or neurodivergence that it wasn't possible, take a seat in the back of the bus, but she decided to do it another way.
Yeah, I love her. It's absolutely true. And I had a feeling that, even if it isn't, other people aren't going to want this. I want this.
Yeah,
But I started to find out more and more and more people wanted this. And there really wasn't like a mom's touch, so to speak, in this category. There is now. We've started it. We've created this whole new industry of humane, sustainable, and effective pest control and preventive. And none of that existed before. So if I wasn't like a touch of neuro myself, I don't think I would have, you have to be part delusional, I think. Or
right.
people think you're delusional when you come out with these things, but a visionary, it's hard to describe, but you see something and you see a better way and it's possible, and you have to be able to communicate that and put all the steps in place to make that happen. And that's like you said, having a problem to solve is just, I'll never forget when it hit me, because I used to work at a cosmetic counter, and I've had a lot of jobs. I've started 8 companies, and it was all for extra cash and income, doing the mundane cleaning homes, just moving big, heavy furniture and washers and dryers. And I did all kinds of things. But when this business hit, I remember thinking, hey, it's not sexy and it's recession proof.
Yeah,
People are always going to have a pest problem.
yeah,
And hey, I have just as much right as anybody else. So it totally is possible to start something with nothing in
yeah,
this country, and build it into what we have. Because you I was 18,000 a year when we started this. Total income per year for our family, we were in very much in poverty, and now we've sold $360 million at retail of our product. So we've been around a while, but we still, have a long ways to go. And I set out to say, okay, well, 98% of everything at the time when I started was kill and poison. And I'm thinking, even if I can just get 2% of the market share,
yep, yep,
I could probably die or retire a millionaire.
yeah,
And it's so interesting because now Procter and Gamble has stepped in and SC Johnson has stepped in, and they're still not taking the humane approach, but they are, moving us towards non-toxic, which is so important.
yeah, absolutely. Who's
Are you?
Yeah, who's been a hero for you? Who's been an inspiration for all of this good work that you've done?
Well, there's a few of them. Mother Teresa was always an inspiration for me because I saw her passion for helping the poor. And in a way, I feel like I've been doing that because in manufacturing, you're able to lift you're able to lift people out of poverty,
Yeah.
which that's one of the reasons I chose to like develop the products and make the products so I can send all my people to school. And it was such a passion for me.
Yeah.
Gary Vaynerchuk has been another hero for me. I heard him speak many, many years ago, and he said, okay, the future is this. And he was very much a visionary and saw what the future is going to look like. And so we're friends today, and we work with his company, and I just have, so much love and respect for what he's doing of bringing more kindness into the world through business,
Yeah.
because we do have a lot of choice and power, right? How we show up and what we do when we own companies. And then of course, Jesus, I always think to myself when I'm sitting with a person or having a difficult conversation, so to speak, I think to myself, okay, what would Jesus do in this moment? Right? What are their relatives in heaven wanting for them? And it really changes the dynamics in how you run a company. So
Yeah.
it's such a good question.
So let me ask you this. What is the motivator for you every day to wake up to continue to do this work? And it's not only just a matter of having a company and taking care of all of these employees, but you have a mission and a vision that you're sticking to, but you also have to evolve as a human being along the way. What is that collective gumption for you?
Yeah, so it's changed over the years. In the beginning, the whole driving mission was okay, 98% toxic kill by 2040. It's going to be totally flip the script, make it 98% non toxic, non kill. 33 years it's going to take to do that. I'll be 77. So I was thinking in these big pictures, like, what do I have to do? So my driving force was okay, we need to develop products for the most toxic stuff to reduce that. And now that I've built the leadership team and I basically have other people running the company day to day, where I have the just incredible honor to steer us and find new partnerships and ways of growth that really make an impact on our mission and our lives and our customers lives. Now it's more about for me it's about watering, and I think of that before even talking to you. It's like, what a great privilege that I have to be able to share what I've learned, right? And pay that forward. And it's for myself, other people have done that for me, in my early years. And it's so transformational to somebody to hear the right words at the right time from somebody that's been there and done that and that they respect. And when I'm out speaking on stages, which I never in a million years thought I'd do, because I would have dropped out of high school if I would have had to speak up in front of somebody. But getting the message out that it's so important for us to speak our truth and live with our values and request that, because it gives other people permission to do the same.
So I remember reading a National Geographic article years ago, and it talked about how many bugs are on the planet. And it's like 10 to 20 times more than humans. It's an unbelievable amount of bugs.
Yes.
So, what is your favorite bug? I know it's a weird question. There's a lot of alluring, fun bugs in the world. What's your favorite one?
So I love the monarch butterfly,
Yeah.
and I work a lot with monarchs. My dad loved the monarch butterfly as well. And there's a couple reasons for this. They are kind of they're iconic for the plight of insects and bugs.
Yeah.
And the northern monarch, they go from way up in the northern US all the way down to Mexico, to the central Mexican mountains every year. It's like 4,000 miles. And the little tiny wings.
Yeah.
And they have to stop and make new babies along the way. And somehow they do that. They make that pilgrimage back and forth every year. And I've gone to the mountains with eco teachers and watched it. And it's like, it's fascinating how
Yeah,
resilient they are, and it's important that we protect them, but it's such a landmark bug. Spiders, though, are so fascinating as well. What they can do, and I study, study them extensively to come up with our solutions, which are all very novel, and then they're scientifically proven. But it takes many hundreds of hours to figure that out. And spiders, I'm scared of them. They freak me out. But what they can do is so, oh my gosh.
yeah.
And you can tell the ecosystem's health, a lot of that by spiders. And I think we've just scratched the tip of the iceberg, and there's so much we can learn from the bug world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with bees and just all of the pollination, it's fascinating. I'm always just amazed at the amount of animals and bugs that exist on the planet, just the sheer magnitude of genus classifications. It's
Oh.
never ending.
The biomass, when you look at the weight, it's unbelievable. But if it gets out of balance,
Yeah.
for instance, the spiders eat other things, and then other things eat other things, and there's this whole ecosystem that we would be dead in literally, I think it's 3 months. We would be all be dead if that ecosystem gets out of sync.
Yeah.
And it's so, so important that we protect and we reduce the pesticide load on our environment. And
Yeah.
so I'm passionate about that as well. And our products certainly give people the empowerment that they can do one thing in their own home to help.
So of all of these things that you've done and accomplished and evolved into in your life up to this point, what are you the proudest of?
Oh, my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. My kids, my grandkids, it's pretty amazing when you see what they've done, and it just blows me away. I always told them when they were little, you can be anything, but I want to hear from your teachers that you were kind and that you were generous and that you tried your best.
Yeah.
And that's what I heard from their teachers. And now today they're in these amazing roles, and the grandkids are becoming entrepreneurs themselves, and it's so, oh my gosh, it's so fantastic to
Yeah.
be the age that I am.
Yep. To see it all unfold. So at the end of the day, everyone out there has a perception of you. There's different roles that you play. You're a family, friends, all of your clients, all of the employees that you take care of. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
So well, to be honest, I've struggled with my identity like my whole life, because each day I show up and help where I'm needed. I'm ultimately a helper. Now, other people, in the words out, they call me an angel dressed in a badass CEO uniform. So I really, every day, and I say in my prayers, I will do the best I can and with what I have, and continue to be that leader and to be a good mom and a good wife. And I really think it's like that simple, almost by the minute, taking a breath and just be in love.
Yeah. Which is the one thing that we can control. That's what I realized during the whole COVID thing and anything in your life that's kind of out of control. That's the only thing that you can control is what you love and how you emit it.
100%.
That's it. So if anyone out there wants to learn more about you, reach out, contribute, hire you, be a part of the mission, how can they do that?
So they can find the company at earthkind.com. Can find information on me on my website at kariwarbergblock.com. There's newsletters that can be signed up for. You can find our products in 35,000 stores all across the country. We've got Lowe's and Walmart and Ace and Tractor Supply and John Deere, and the list goes on there. can look for Fresh Cab, which is our farm brand, and Stay Away, which is our urban city brand.
Wonderful. This has been so revelatory. Thank you so much for your story, your energy, the compassion that you're putting out in the world. It's so necessary. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. So happy to be with you today.
Best of luck with everything.
You as well.
Thank you.
La-da-da.